Story 1. Same as every morning. I use the restroom. I won't fully realize I'm the only human left until I head to work. Story 2. I will relax and take a nap instead of going to work if no one else is going to be there. Story 3. When I read this, my mind went straight to the series The Last Man on Earth. If you haven't watched it, you should. Story 4. First, I check surrounding stores to gather food, water, and supplies, assuming the buildings are still intact and the supplies are available. No one can accuse me of stealing, so everything is mine, provided there hasn't been a nuclear event or something similar. If there has been, and there isn't much left, I plan to take life one day at a time. Story 5. Prepare for work. How would I know I'm the last? At least until the first meeting that no one joins. But that is likely an issue with the communication tools. I will continue working and go to sleep. On the second day, I might get suspicious. It's not like the infrastructure stops working immediately. There are plenty of bots on social media to keep it active. Story 6. First, I would look for supplies and separate them by which ones will spoil first and last. I would consume those that spoil first and save the rest. I would search for gasoline to fill the car's tank and additional containers for travel. I would take my animals along with me. It would be amazing to see nature take care of everything and restore itself. I would also want to visit zoos and farms to release the animals so they do not die of hunger and thirst. Story 7. I will breathe and cry, feeling relief for the earth and all her living inhabitants who continue to exist in our absence. I will find a small organic farm close to the ocean or a river and spend my days with a group of free-range animals. I will likely cry more, breathe every day, and be grateful for my experiences here. Story 8. The day starts like any other day. I awake to my alarm going off. Nothing seems out of the ordinary before I brush my teeth and get dressed. Things might seem a bit odd when I notice that the television in the front room is on and nobody is there, not even sleeping. However, that's a common occurrence in this household. I might think twice when I don't hear anyone snoring in the other bedroom. Rarely does anyone besides myself leave the house early in the morning. I would be concerned when I leave for work and find the roads quiet and empty. It's not a holiday. Even on those days, there's traffic. I would make it to work, wait for others to show up, and find that nobody does. I would probably call my boss first, and when nobody answers, I would call human resources. When those calls go unanswered, I would reach out to friends, and that is when I would probably start to panic. I would go anywhere that I would expect people to be. The mall, the theater, the department of motor vehicles, all of them empty. I would rush over to my girlfriend's place and find not a soul, save for her pets. Panic would subside, and despair would take its place as I come to the horrible realization that I am alone. More alone than I ever thought possible. My other half has vanished. I have nobody to talk to. The only thing that would keep me going is looking after my pets. But even that purpose is finite. When they pass away, I would be truly left with nothing. The prospect of being the last of my kind on this planet would be too much for me to bear. Story 9. Take the car. Go to Mom's. Eliminate Phil, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all of this to blow over. Story 10. I am going to the nearest liquor store to purchase the most premium bottle of scotch they have. I will drink that while I devise a serious game plan. Story 11. Honestly, I would probably want to end it sooner or later. If everyone is gone, then power would be gone. I wouldn't be able to maintain a lot of things, and I just couldn't keep myself alive like that. Story 12. Raid every store for canned food, water, clothing, sleeping bags, fishing rods, and bait. Put everything in a large bag, grab a bike tire pump, take a bike, and then leave to raid more stores. Story 13. Feed the cats and the dog. Make breakfast. Stay calm. Then start asking questions. Check the internet if it's still operational and see if there are any indications of a cause in the headlines. Figure it out from there. Am I the last human on Earth? Did everybody else leave for Mars or Alpha Centauri? Why did they leave me behind? Or am I truly the last human? Did everybody else suddenly die or disappear? Is it just a complete mystery? My instinctive need to know is going to drive me crazy if I don't find some answers. Story 14. Get a semi-truck, start collecting, and take over that one log cabin I dream about. What I'm collecting: 1. Books. 2. Dry goods. 3. Medications and first aid supplies. 4. Everything from recreational equipment and supply stores. 5. Livestock and their essentials, including horses. 6. Art, like from museums. A 10,000-year-old chalice is now my coffee mug. 7. Garden supplies. As much gas as I can. This should be done with the spirit of a fun road trip. Story 15. I probably wonder where all the humans went and begin to be convinced I am in hell. Then I would get a jeep, find a farm, gather all the dogs and animals I can, and create a large farm so I won't be lonely. Story 16. I will figure out how to get to New Zealand with my dog. It is one of the only places in the world where I do not have to worry about failing nuclear plants that did not shut down properly. Story 17. I would get drunk and then pray to God, asking him to forgive me before considering taking my own life. I wouldn't want to be here if I didn't have my loved ones. Story 18. I will probably stockpile medicine and canned food. I need to start farming and hunting to survive for longer than 5 years, so I will download and print instructions on how to properly farm different types of crops without the use of electricity. I will also watch videos on hunting and survival tips before I lose internet access or power. Story 19. Find a bulldozer and move all the cars out of the way on a road that I want to speed on. A downtown section that is always crowded would be fun, but no supercars. Something slow so when I do crash, it is not life-threatening. Story 20. I wake up and realize I am alone. I go to the supermarket to get some chips, turn on the music for everyone to hear, put on a crown, and officially declare myself queen of the planet. Story 21. Go to the store to get the best computer equipment and external hard drives. Then, buy all the games I have ever wanted on Steam before the infrastructure goes down. Story 22. To be honest, nothing. My wife and kids are gone. They are the only reason I am still in this situation. I do not want to be here if they are not. Story 23. I will probably use the bathroom. It will likely take me a while to realize that I am the last person on Earth. Then, I will raid a pharmacy for the strongest opioids so that I have a way out once the novelty of being alone is over. Story 24. Collect all the cars I have ever wanted in warehouses near a racetrack. Drive them until I am bored. Then find a boat, tour the Mediterranean, maybe make it to the United States coast, drive over to Area 51, see what I can find, and spend some time in nice homes in Los Angeles. I am unsure after that. Story 25. Go through everyone's things. I have always been curious, but I am too polite to actually do it. Now is my chance. Story 26. I go to a military base and steal weapons and explosives. Maybe I work for a company that destroys buildings and steals dynamite. Then I have fun destroying city blocks in Paris or any large city. I steal a sports car, find a castle or villa, and go there with a truck full of weapons. I steal food and generators to stock as much food as possible, along with water. I will probably die from alcohol poisoning at some point or from a radioactive material leak at a nuclear power plant. Story 27. I would break into Just Born headquarters and find the original recipe behind Zowers. Then, I would spend the rest of my life understanding the machines to make one last batch. I would eat Zowers and watch the sunset, continuing this until I passed away, I guess. Story 28. Honestly, I do the same thing every morning. I live alone, so I would have no way of knowing I was the last person on Earth at first. I assume that utilities and telecommunication services would not shut down immediately, so I probably would not realize anything was amiss until I left my apartment. Story 29. Reading through these, I just realized I would be at work for a solid hour before it hit me. I have no connection until customers arrive, and mornings can be slow. It's not until then that I start wondering where my coworkers are. Story 30. I would look up where I can send signals into space that are closest to me. I would travel there and establish a base using propane appliances, solar panels, and batteries. I would focus on 2 things: building a long-standing monument to chronicle the basics of humanity and its history, which might end up making us look better than we are, while sending out a distress signal of various sorts. My work as a chronicler of humanity and a small farmer would give me solid purpose and allow me to enjoy my life, regardless of how that ends up. Ideally, I would get incredibly lucky and a race of sentient beings would let me hang out with them. And ideally, it turns out we are biocompatible enough. Furthermore, I hope there would be a female among them who finds me intriguing, so that some hybrid humans can connect, and in that way I save the species. Story 31. I will find myself a cool mansion and live my life there. I may also find a dog so I'm not lonely. Story 32. I have a fifth of whiskey that I've had for 3 or 4 years, and it is still half full. Since all my friends and family are gone, and I have no new friends to make, without anyone to operate the equipment, the power lines will soon go dead. I think I'll polish off that bottle and take my own life. I just need to figure out which handgun would do the best job. Story 33. Gather all the cats and let them live in the empty homes. Enjoy the sunrises, sunsets, and solitude. Then I would panic thinking about all the animals stuck in zoos. Story 34. The basement car park of my condominium has a 1970s Jaguar, a couple of Porsches, 3 Ferraris, and a Volvo P1800. I am going on joyrides. Story 35. After running out a few times, I would move into whatever home I liked and set myself up with as much food as I could store for a long time. Then my dog and I would live happily for the rest of our days. Story 36. I would find a working freezer and salvage frozen foods. Remember the scene in I Am Legend, when someone ate the bacon that Will Smith was saving? Story 37. Life as the last man alive in a world where everyone has just disappeared or where everyone has died from a mystery illness that I am apparently immune to. Assuming I somehow know there is literally no one else in the world, or at least on this landmass. To start, equip myself for travel. Vehicle, fuel, basic food and drink, notepads and pens. I live remotely. Hopefully, the car will have a full tank of fuel to start with. Head to nearby towns to collect essentials. Vehicle fuel, non-perishable food and water, alcohol, it's the end of the world, camping equipment, and figure out what useful items I can get with minimal travel. While power lasts, have a few last first world moments. Exotic foods, milk and dairy, prepared and processed foods. Find and retrieve a transit-style van. With initial supplies laid in, venture further afield and look to the medium term. Visit libraries for practical books on how to hook up a generator, basic car maintenance, and kitchen gardening, plus a few boxes of novels. Pick up a generator, perhaps several. Decide whether to move into a house with existing solar generator wiring or attempt to wire my own house. Assuming generator success, prioritize power usage. Key items include light, heat, refrigeration, and entertainment. Collect stocks of fine wines, spirits, and beer, understanding that wine and spirits will likely outlast me, but beer will fade. Acquire pharmaceutical stocks. Painkillers, antibiotics, antihistamines, vitamins, supplements, and heavy opiates as an option for the end. Research preferred methods of death and get whatever else is needed, if not an overdose. In the chosen living location, check nearby properties for potential issues. Gas and oil supplies that could combust in hot weather, things that will rot or cause disease, trapped animals, and deal accordingly. I might have a look in cupboards to see if anyone had anything interesting. Rest of life. Devoted to simple pleasures until departure. Enjoy literature, movies, television shows, and video games. Acquire a camper and travel to favorite relatively nearby places to experience again. Eat and drink with little regard to health beyond basic nutrition. I suspect there will be a lot of alcohol. If new activities suggest themselves, do them but with a view to not being injured. Dead is fine, injured is very bad. And finally, end it, because sooner or later, living a completely solitary life with ever-decreasing food variety and only old books and movies for company won't be enough. Enjoy self-indulgence for as long as it's fun, and then depart as painlessly as possible. Addendum and additional thoughts. 1. I've omitted emotion because you can assume grief at the loss of everyone. My wife, my family, my friends, neighbors, and people in the street will be crippling. Unless there's some kind of announcement or revelation, I suspect it would be hard to believe I was alone, and searching for other people would occupy a lot of time. Unless everyone else is teleported into space, we're talking about a pandemic, which means a lot of ferrying bodies from nearby houses to somewhere, and much less straightforward foraging. Story 38. Visit every dog shelter, farm, or home that has a stranded pet. Create a dog kingdom with many fun dog friends. Story 39. My boss is going to find a way to call me from beyond the grave and ask me to work late because everyone else is off. Story 40. I have many advantages in this scenario. I have easy access to commercial-scale solar panels and all the necessary support equipment to build a viable solar plant, such as batteries, charge controllers, and inverters. Additionally, I have access to large flat roofs. I believe this will provide sufficient electricity for at least the first decade or so until the panels degrade. I am a data enthusiast and have a library of hundreds, possibly thousands, of movies, television shows, and video games that can all function without an internet connection. Furthermore, I archive all of Wikipedia and Project Gutenberg, giving me an abundance of reading and informational material. The network-attached storage that holds most of this data is running on a redundant array of independent disks level 2 configuration with fairly new drives, and I can stockpile spare drives for when the originals begin to fail. Similar to the solar plant, I am confident I can rely on this storage for at least a decade, if not longer. I live on the coast and know how to sail, including some basic stellar navigation. This knowledge will enable me to undertake long-distance travel if I want or need to. My main concern would be food, as I am not a skilled farmer or hunter. I would have to hope that, being the only human around, foraging might become a viable option. Otherwise, I will likely rely on a diet consisting mainly of fish and canned goods. Story 41. I will probably take a break. After that, it depends. Are all humans dead? And are their bodies still littering the streets? Because I will need to clean them up before they decay, at least in the place where I want to spend the last of my days. If they simply disappeared, that would make things easier. I would search for a functioning vehicle, then head to a warehouse for a major grocery chain and likely live there until I pass away. Story 42. I completely misread the title as, "Where do you fart?" And that became a more interesting question for me. Story 43. Honestly, I would probably consider ending my life. As introverted as I am, life would become increasingly miserable without other people to handle essential tasks like maintaining grocery stores, ensuring electricity and plumbing work, and managing game servers. Living off the land by myself, with nothing to do but read whatever books are currently available at nearby stores, is not appealing to me. Story 44. I dislike questions like this because it is impossible to be the last person on Earth. Has anyone even calculated this? Why fantasize when it is never going to be true? Story 45. I'm not sure, but I am certain it would involve inappropriate activities. After that, I would enjoy a peaceful state of mind until I succumb to starvation or illness. Story 46. Head to Mar-a-Lago and use it for my toilet. I will set up a few tents outside and just use the house to relieve myself. Story 47. Go bowling and travel to various places. Leave messages for aliens detailing what happened. I am studying electrical engineering to restore power in my area. From there, go with the flow. Story 48. I thought about this a lot when I was younger. If I automatically die after 24 hours, I would want to go around causing chaos. If I don't die after 24 hours, I would likely engage in reckless behavior for a day and then contemplate ending my life. Story 49. Go to each store, eat as much as I want, and get every pair of baggy jeans and the shortest shorts. Style them, then go to IKEA to give my room a makeover. After that, visit the zoo to see all the animals. Story 50. Find the largest house. Choose a nice Porsche. Visit the liquor store. Ride segways through the mall. Story 51. Find an upscale restaurant and explore it. Additionally, visit high-end clothing stores to enhance my wardrobe. Story 52. First, I will go to the restroom and then try to find something to eat. After that, I will start studying cloning technology to create a more female version of myself. I will gather genetic material from different ethnicities, including Black, White, and Japanese. I will embrace love and have many children, teaching them to live naturally and to respect all living creatures, promoting a deep love for the earth. Story 53. First, I will go to the restroom, and then I will try to find something to eat. After that, I will start studying cloning technology to create a more feminine version of myself. I will gather genetic material from various ethnicities, and I will cherish love and have many children. I will teach them to live naturally and to respect all living creatures while caring for the earth. Story 54. First, I will go to the bathroom and then try to find something to eat. After that, I will start studying cloning technology to create a female version of myself. I will seek out genetic material from diverse backgrounds, including Black, White, and Asian. My aim is to form a loving family and raise many children. I will teach them to live naturally, respect all living creatures, and cherish the earth. Story 55. I have had a transplant, so immunosuppressants are my priority. I will work with chemists and hospitals to store the medications in several different locations. I am uncertain about the next steps after that. Story 56. I know that I have a very short time left to live. I need insulin to survive. Once it is out of the refrigerator, it will last for 1 month. The amount I have at any given time is enough for about 3 months. The local pharmacy will have more, but once the electricity fails, which will happen quickly without people, none of that will matter. Even though I am the last one alive, I know it will not be for much longer either. Story 57. Go to a pharmacy and relax. Then I'll go to the bank and dispose of the money there. Story 58. It depends on what the cause was. Necrophilia might be the first thing on the list, provided that there are some warm bodies available. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.